Hey everybody, and welcome to a new thing on the channel. This is a look at Endzone, a world apart. As you can see by all the yellow and black tape on the screen, it is in early access, so please be aware that this isn't a feature-complete game. It's not done yet. There could be balancing issues or defects or bugs we come across. Things could change from now until the game is actually, gets its final release. So, try not to judge it too harshly. Also, something that I would love to point out is that this game is brought to us because I was given a key for it. I was given a key by Assemble Entertainment. They are the publisher of this game, specifically Maria at Assemble Entertainment provided the key for that one, for this one. So thank you very much, Maria and Assemble Entertainment, for that. I greatly appreciate the chance to take a look at the game here. So I have played a little bit. I actually played a lot because the tutorial is very long. So there's a lot to go into here, but the first thing I want to discuss with you or show you is the opening intro, because I like the intro. But I guess we should talk about what the game is. So what is Endzone, a world apart? It's a city builder game. So it's a city builder game where there's been maybe a nuclear apocalypse. Something has happened to the world. There's radiation in the world, and we are people that have come out of a bunker, and now we have to try to rebuild the planet. So, or not the whole planet, but just the small area that we're in. It's kind of like Banished, but that's an older game, so maybe you haven't seen Banished. Other things I can kind of describe it as is Frostpunk. We played Frostpunk on here. It's a little like that. It's very dependent on you managing your resources, and your people are one of your resources that you need to manage. So let me go ahead and start the intro, but first let me turn down the volume a little bit because the intro is rather loud.
Humanity survived. Our ancestors have destroyed the world, and we had to pay the price. With over 100 years without sunlight, but we have prepared ourselves for our chance to make things right. They stole from us a life of happiness. Still, we will make the best of it. Even though Mother Earth is grim and tainted, we have managed to survive. And we will keep surviving.
Alright, so that's the intro for Endzone, a world apart. Let me bring the music back up. And I'm gonna go ahead and get started here. So I'm gonna start a new game. The tutorial is very long. So if you decide you want to get this game, and it is on sale on Steam for maybe the next 6 days, depending on when I upload this video. It's like 25% off, I think. Yeah, check it out. The tutorial is very long, but it teaches you quite a lot. I'm going to start on survival mode. There are also scenarios, but let's just start on survival mode and see how long we can last. So, normal mode, build mode, easy game, maximum challenge, no trees, relax and discover. Let's start just on normal difficulty, please. Excuse me, sorry. Here's our map seed. We're going to do a large map. You know, we're just going to keep all this stuff. Medium mountains, medium lakes, etc., etc. The weather, rain is random. You know, there can be rain contamination. There can be sandstorms. There can be droughts. And then, what do we want to name our settlement, and what kind of tools do what do our first people out of the bunker, out of the vault, start with? So let's come up with a settlement name first. Withergate, Aposity, the Mausoleum, no thank you. Foolshope, Boundington, New Heaven. You know what? We'll be New Heaven. So, medium number of settlers, medium consumable consumption, etc. So our people will start with metal tools because they're coming out of the bunker pretty fresh. They'll have normal amount of resources. They'll have a carbon mask to protect themselves from the environment. It'll be a medium distance to water. There's diseases, there's side missions, and nothing being researched right now because we don't have a research facility at the start. Let's go ahead and start the game and see where we end up. So all the map is procedurally generated because we had that seed. And let's see where we go. Alright, so there's us. We have a small lake to the side. Not a good amount of water, but it's water. Alright, Zach. Sorry things got a little framey there. This looks like a good place to settle. You know what we learned in the end zone? Basic needs come first and foremost. We have to build up a water and food supply, and then let's build ourselves a new home. Alright, so first things first, let me just, I don't know. Let me try to orient the camera a little bit. Let me pause. Things are going to get kind of funky here, so let me deal with something. Let me deal with something so that I'm not overloading my recording, and then I'll bring you right back. Okay, let's try starting again. Let's see. Things are recording fine. Things are recording fine. All right, yeah, I had to drop the recording down to 720p instead of 1080p, unfortunately. But let's check out our surroundings here. So we've got a lake, so we can get some water, and some fish. We can fish in here. We're bounded by a mountain to the north, which is kind of unfortunate because we won't be able to spread that direction very easily. Some scraps over here that we can get scrap out of. Another much larger lake down here. Some scrap here, or some buildings, some ruins that we can scrap over there. And somewhere there might be something we can eventually explore in like this greenhouse ruin. We can go there, we can send an expedition there and learn more about it. But for right now, this is us. You know, we're in this van. This is our kind of home base right now. Just fresh out of the vault. And we're gonna need some supplies. So first of all, what we're gonna need is some water. So we have 600 water, but we're not making any water right now. So let's go over here to buildings and task. Let's build a jetty. That's where we can start getting water out of the lake here. Just kind of grabbing it out. And I'm gonna drop it here. Yeah, that looks good. We'll drop the jetty right there. Our people will go work on it. First, they have to clean up some radiation, which you can see there. That's what the little radiation symbols are. So when they do that, they need a place to put the water. So we're going to drop it in a cistern. So the cistern can go over here. I kind of want to keep it sort of close by so our people can reach it quite easily. There you go. And it also has to, you know, its water sources has to be within its range. So we can drop a cistern. Let's think about fishing. So we should set up a fishing hut over here. We can get some fish out of the lake. There you go. These green indicators, well, you can't see them now. The green indicators there on the left side of what I'm building right now, and all around the, all around here and all there, that's where people will enter and exit the facility. So they will, if they're going to these places, they will want to be on that side. Okay. You know what? I can start things up a little bit. We'll start building. So interesting, what this game has, kind of like what Banished has, is you have to assign people to tasks. So you have settlers who will just do basic things like carry items over, like carry wood or whatever. But to actually build things, you need to have people dedicated as builders. To fish, you need to have people dedicated as fishermen or fisherwomen or fisher non-binary people. And you know, you have some water carriers too. So we'll set those jobs. I'd also I can research the cake shop, or I can explore the cake shop. I do not want to mark it for salvage right now though, because we will investigate that place. So we can get scrap out of these buildings. It's a fair amount of scrap in here. So 150 scrap, 200 scrap, 200 scrap. We can have people just gather scrap with their bare hands, kind of like you could in Frostpunk. But you can also set up a scrapyard. So if we set up a scrapyard, and one thing to notice is people don't like living near the scrapyard because it's ugly. So let's move the scrapyard. I mean, there's all this stuff. We can gather all this garbage. So that could be a good place. Down here is also a good place, but it's not within range, you know, within that circular disc. I don't know what other kind of shape a disc could be. A rectangular disc? That doesn't work. So, yeah. So let's go ahead and drop this down somewhere. You know what? I'll just drop it right here. And people can go work in that. We will have to assign them to that position, though. So they can be a scrap collector. It only leaves us with 2 settlers, though. So we got a little bit of food, we get a little bit of water, we've got our water holder, our water container, and you. This thing, the scrap gatherer. So we're also, oh, I haven't seen you guys before, Buffalo Bull and Buffalo Cows. Not seen you fellows. I've seen jackalopes, I've seen deer. We've got some kids over here. They can't do much because they're just children, but they can help out in the homes. So it's also good to know that we have contaminated rain right now. So speaking of homes, so we should build them some houses so that they are happy. So I said I wanted to orient my camera, but let's do this. I'm gonna drop down some houses, and I don't really know how I want to position them. One thing you'll know if you've watched my gameplay of like RimWorld is that I don't really sit down and think about, well, how are we gonna align these buildings? I just do it, and then things get rather organic, let's say. Let's call it organic placement. Sure, let's drop one cabin here. Let's drop another cabin here. Now, it's interesting or important to note that I don't think they can walk. I don't believe they can walk between these locations if they're side by side like this. So I do want to keep a gap so people can get in and around. So that's 2 houses. Houses can hold up to 5 people, but they hold in a household. So we've got 15 family members, so we probably need a couple more houses. These, you can see here, that uses 8 wood, 15 scrap, and 25 just kind of time for our builders to build it. I want to just kind of make sure I'm sort of aligned. I don't want people to be too unhappy with how things are looking. There's your 4 houses. They kind of surround the town square there. But speaking of wood, so we're gonna need some wood coming in. So let's go over to Forester's Lodge and grab that. So you can see within the circle underneath where it says Forester's Lodge, there's a number. That's the amount of wood they can gather at this location, or whatever location I'm setting them on. I really don't want them to be too far away because they have to walk over there, right? So maybe it's okay because we're probably not going to extend out in this direction. So, well, not easily. So if we can kind of just bump them up in this little area here and make sure to rotate so that they face the right way. You know what? There you go. You have your Forester's Lodge. Let's also get maybe a gathering hut. Can we get a gathering hut going on? That's under food. Gatherer's cabin. Well, do I actually have to think about the people, right? So I don't have a super amount of people. If I were to place a gatherer, I wouldn't be able to have a settler. I could drop down the number of builders I have. I could drop down the number of fisher people I have. But why that's kind of important is that gatherers can get different kinds of food from the forest. And right now, I only have one kind of food. And look at that. Our cistern is filled with contaminated water because apparently this lake is contaminated. Can I see that? Yes, I can kind of see that. The lake is contaminated. So that's something we're going to have to deal with eventually. So maybe I should work on that. So the way you can do that, you can remove contamination by upgrading this to a water tower, and then water tower can have a filter applied to it. Unfortunately, to get a water tower, I need 12 bottles, so 12 plastics, and 8 charcoal. So I'm going to need a charcoal hut and a plastic recycler. So, maybe I don't worry about that for right now, though, because low amounts of contamination. It's just low contamination, so maybe that's okay. Probably not okay, but we're gonna say it's okay. Let's drop a gatherer's cabin. It is actually gonna take every single bit of our scrap, so maybe we don't want to do that until we get this scrap heap going, scrap yard going. They need wood and they need scrap. Okay, you need scrap to build the scrap yard. All right, well that's interesting. So what we can do there to gather scrap by hand, these scrap piles, these car wrecks, what we can do is we can set a task and say, gather scrap right here. Just get rid of this scrap for me. Get this 84 scrap or 70 scrap. Just pick it up. It's not as efficient as using the scrapyard, and they can't scrap real big items, but they can grab some. So unfortunately, we do have contaminated water in our stores. It sucks. And what do we have? Contaminated fish as well? Yes, we do have contaminated fish. Can you remove radiation? Can you remove radiation in this general area? Excuse me. Can you remove radiation? Right about here. Just get rid of radiation on that. So radiation is going to come and go. It's just part of life in the apocalypse. So if we're ever going to get around to building this thing, speed up time a little bit. We should have some wood coming in from... No, we're not going to have any wood coming in from here because we need scrap to build that. That's okay. We'll get it. You know, we're eventually getting scrap. Yeah, see, they've got the wood they need. They just need to gather the scrap, and then they can start knocking out or knocking some construction out. I don't even know if that's what I wanted to say, but they can start constructing things. Maybe that's a better way of putting it. Alright, let's speed up time a little more. There you go. So now someone is in their building. Who is that? That is Joshua, a young adult. He's hammering at absolutely nothing, but he's doing a great job. Great job, Joshua. Keep it up, buddy. There you go. So now there is one Forester's Lodge up and running, and you can set it to cut down and reforest. You can tell them just to cut down the trees, just to reforest the trees. Does he instantly become a logger? I mean, he shouldn't because he's a builder, but maybe he is. Joshua, you are the forester. Okay, so you can build your own place. Build your own place and then chop down the trees. The scrapyard is up and running as well. There's one person working in there, and they'll scrap all this stuff. And these buildings, except for the cake shop. So yeah, see, our fishing hut's no longer contaminated. Our water supply is still contaminated, though. It sucks, but it is. Alright, what were we doing? We wanted to, we wanted to build a gatherer hut to get more food types. So, gatherer cabin. There's quite a lot of gathering, it looks like, in this area. Let's drop down here. 790? 760? 700 something. There you go. So that's one gathering hut. Do we have a person that we can make a gatherer, though? We do. Let's drop down a builder, because I'm also going to want a... I'm going to put a medical hut in here as well, like little... What do they call it? It's a... herbal hut. Here you go. So they gather herbs, which people can use to heal themselves if they need. It requires 26 wood and 18 scrap. And I'll just put that next door. And you guys can just work in these woods. There you go. Alright, we got some water, we got some food. What is this? We got some homeless people. Okay. And we've got contaminated rain as well, unfortunately. So this place right here, it's telling me that there's no scrap to be found, so I can demolish that gathering spot. So let's go ahead and deal with the homeless situation. We'll at least try to. Go ahead and set up a, well, first of all, let's see, why is it mad at me? There you go, there's an herbalist now. You can also build a shelter. So interesting, shelters house a lot of people. but they don't reproduce in the shelter. There's no loving going on in the shelter, let's just say that. So there's no babies being produced at that point. Alright, so we're building another cabin here for our 3 homeless individuals. And there's a complaint, it's just that homeless thing. So you can see how important people are in this situation, because I'd love to build more things, but I just can't because I don't have enough, like, I don't have enough hands to go around to do all the work I need to be done. So I need to grow my population so I can do tasks. It's really one person, 2 whole people moved into this house. Janik and Sophia. And there's 2 more homeless people just hanging out somewhere. So you know what, you guys, you can have your other cabin. Okay, everyone's got a place to live now. Florian and Olivia live here. So what I think is nice is the fact that these houses don't look like cookie cutter, copies. The houses don't look the same. So in other games, some other games, when you just put houses like in a row next to each other, they can look samey, and that looks uninteresting. But with these houses, with them looking separate, it looks normal. I mean, these 2 kind of have a similar idea because of their rooftops, but this one's got a little awning on the back, and you've got a little metal structure over here. It just gives it character and a little personality. Our gatherer's cabin is there. They are gathering food. Now we have 3 different food types. Does it tell us what we have? We have beans, fish, and mushrooms. That's what we're living on, beans, fish, and mushrooms. Don't know if that's better or worse than what we had in the vault. So, I probably do want to think about upgrading this building, but like I said, we need coal for that, charcoal, and we also need, plastics. Do we have the people for that, though? We have 1 extra person. If I want to keep 1 settler, 1 non-employed settler, or kind of basic settler around, I have 1 person. So I can do a recycler here. And the recycler takes basic scrap, and it turns it into whatever I want. Well, one of whatever I want. We'll see what I mean. Where do I want to put it? I have to think about where I might try to expand in the future. So, or what is already ugly, because it's an ugly building. So if I come over here to attractiveness, I can see that the woodcutter's hut is kind of ugly. The scrap yard is kind of ugly. So let's drop a recycler over here where it's already kind of ugly. And I will put them... Put him... Where do I want to put him? I'll put him here. There. Alright, so... Gonna chop down some trees for that. We have 1 homeless person, unfortunately, because children went down, but adults went up. So someone has just aged out. They have become an adult and they want to move into a new home, but there's not a new home available. So let's think about providing a new home then. So one other thing that I want to do, if I have the ability, it's under logistics, is to set up a dirt road. Let's just encircle my my little town center here with some roads, and let's send these roads out in these directions. Attempt to have some kind of plan. That's typically not how I play games like this, is to have a plan, but let's have a plan. Alright, so that kind of indicates to me that we can move some houses here or some houses on here. So let's build a new house if we have the ability. Housing, cabins. Yeah, like maybe a house right here will work. I can see there's a drought coming after day 9. Or day 8, whatever that is. Don't know if that's the end of day 8. I think it's the beginning of day 8. I'm missing a refiner, so let's bump a refiner in there. So that's the guy that works on the... where is it? The recycler. If we ever build the recycler, I'll show you what I mean about choosing a type. Maybe we're kind of low on scrap. Actually, I think we're just low on people to send things around. Because we only have 2 settlers, and those are the people, those generic settlers are the people that move goods around, basically. So, here's our herbal hut. They gather some herbs. You see we have our house for 1 person, Demi. Just Demi lives there by herself. Flag some wood. Alright, almost there with scrap so we can build the recycler. I think this is maybe our last little haul over here. Alright, that's everything, but now we need a builder to actually build it. There he goes. And so the recycler's up. So you can turn scrap into cloth, metal, or plastic, and then there's other things down the road, like up here, electronics. You can, once you learn electronics, you can turn scrap into electronics. But we needed, what was it, plastic? So let's turn scrap. We can turn 1 scrap into 2 plastics. So let's go ahead and set that. So our guy will go do that. Now we do have a few extra settlers here. What are we complaining about? Notifications. Stockpile water and food in order to survive. The soil is going to become infertile. Well, we don't have any farms, so that's okay. Food. We could build like a hunter hut. Because we have a gathering hut. We've got all these other things going on in the forest, right? So, we could build a hunting cabin if we wanted a little more food. Takes 18 wood and 18 scrap. That's not too bad. And you can kind of see the same thing here as we saw before. How much food is in this circle? So right here, there's no food in that circle. Here, there's 480 units of food in the circle. But over here, we got tons. So that's far away. We don't want our person walking maybe all that far away. So let's try to bring it in a little bit. Yeah, I mean, we could have them about here. Maybe too close? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we can set him up I don't know, let's I've rethought things. Let's move him back a little bit just for fun. So there's 9 bulls in this area. So there's our hunter's lodge. Remember to save. Okay. Yeah, so there's not... I don't have autosave set on, so we can go ahead and save game. This is New Heaven. There you go. Autosave was not a default, so I left it off. Figured if the game company, the developer, didn't want me to turn autosave on by default, then maybe there's a reason for that. We're gonna build you. Something we also might want to think about is providing some roads to these kind of outlying areas, because we know our people have to walk over there. So let's think about that. Maybe that'll help us to outline or, you know, lay out our town later. So if we can maybe set up a dirt road, and we can just continue this in a line. Can't continue this in a line really well because they run into these buildings. But this one, maybe we can just force it this way. And you know, you can walk all the way to the scrapyard that direction, just a straight shot. And this way, maybe we'll keep it a straight shot. So there you go. You can walk in that direction. There's no kind of curved paths like in maybe some other games like City Skylines or something where you could have a curved road. Everything on here is basically in a grid. I guess I could do like two this way, 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 but just kind of force it to be a curve, or attempt to be a curve. So I need a hunter. There you go. I've created a hunter. Is our hunting facility ready yet? It is not. Now there are some priorities for buildings, so the builders will want to build buildings and then repair buildings and then build roads. So they shouldn't be doing the roads. Having these roads set up is not really delaying them from building the main buildings here. The drought has not happened yet. It lasts for a single season, and then we have rain, which could have unknown contamination because we don't have a weather center yet. Now, water is kind of low, so you know we could think about building another water supply. We could build a well. Though someone has to man the well. Good thing about wells though is they do not require or they do not allow contamination, so your well water will never be contaminated as far as I'm aware. You know, let's do it. Let's have it or do we want to do it this direction? You know, maybe we will do it that direction. Let's do this. Let's drop our well right there. Okay, we are getting some plastics going. But we needed one more thing when we were going to upgrade this. We also needed charcoal. So let's look at that charcoal facility. It is, I think, under resources. Charcoal kiln, yep. So a charcoal kiln produces coal from wood. It is an ugly building, so we should not have it anywhere where people want to be. And since it's a wood facility, or it uses wood, maybe we should have it near the hunter or near the that thing. That is our forestry hut, right? Yes, that is our forestry lodge. So maybe we should put it nearby our forestry lodge. and that's kind of out of the way, so people aren't upset. And we will have to assign someone to that, though. As well as we have to assign someone to Wellkeeper, but we already did that. Okay. Maybe let's push forward until we start season 7, and then we can end the episode, because I don't want to make this too long. I want you to get a good feel for the game, or at least for the start of the game. What are we complaining about? Settlers with no protective clothing, and a homeless settler. Okay. Well, about that, let's get that settled. Let's go for... I mean, a shelter might be nice eventually, but we need to keep pumping out those babies, and we don't make babies in shelters, so I don't like that positioning because that kind of blocks where the cistern is. I don't like putting that there because now people can't walk in between. I don't think, I could be wrong, but I think putting them back to back like that is not a great idea. So. Or maybe that's just me being special. Drop you right here. We need a tailor. So that's under resources, that's under tailor shop. But we need cloth. So we actually need a recycler making cloth. So let's build another recycler. You know, we already have this recycler out here, so this can be Recycler Central. And, how do we want to apply that? You know what, maybe they can go here. Okay. So we got another recycler coming online. Unfortunately, that means we have to put a extra person to recycle. It's right here, refiner. It means we have no settlers. Let's drop down to one builder. Well, okay, so someone moved in. Maeva moved in here. She is a forester. I wonder if they choose... I feel like they might choose their housing based on location to their job site. I don't know if that's true. You would think they might. Just for efficiency. Alright, many of our settlers are forced to move across this wasteland unprotected. We should boost our production of protective clothing. Yes, I will do it. So that gives me a little side task here. We need to build a tailor shop, which we will, and produce 2 activated carbon masks. In order to do that, we need charcoal, but we're building charcoal kiln over here. We're building a recycler here to give us the cloth. We need to run the tailor shop. But that gives us something good to work on in the next episode. So let's go ahead and save the game. This is New Heaven. And so this has been Endzone, A World Apart. It's kind of an interesting take on city builders where you have to manage individual people. You know, it's not like SimCity where you can just throw up some commercial or some residential and be done with it. Actual people need to work in these things, and these people produce more children and offspring, and they need a bunch of stuff. So, yeah. Thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope to see you again next time.